Basically a DMR pistol, and this thing is super good, as you could probably tell. Most underrated LMG is going to be crazy to you guys. It's the MG3. The most underrated LMG in the game is the MG3 because a lot of people they absolutely hate the nerfs to this gun because they think that this gun doesn't deserve a nerf, and I'm here to clear that up. It definitely does deserve a nerf. So hello gamers and welcome back to another video. So last time I made a video like this was actually very recently, 2 days ago, and it was about the most forgotten gun in every category in Phantom Forces. And today, because a lot of you guys liked my video, I decided I would do a most underrated gun in every category. Let's go for 1,000 likes and I'll make another video like this. Let me know in the comments which ones you guys want to see next. But yeah, let's get into it. So first off, we have the assault rifle category, and for this one it's honestly kind of hard to say, but right now I kind of want to give it to the L85 because L85 has not really fallen off as hard as some people might tell you. It's not anywhere near as good as it was before, but that was, you know, the best assault rifle in the game at one point, so it makes sense that it would not be quite as good because, yeah, this gun was broken before. Now this gun is still pretty good, you know, it's still really accurate. Now it's going to be a 4 to a 5 hit kill, but it has great 4 hit kill range. It used to be an infinite one, that's why it was so broken, is because it was always a 4 hit kill basically at any time you would use the gun, unless you had like a suppressor, but then just you were bad at the game at that point, okay? Because suppressors used to be like actually terrible. Great velocity, reload speed, fire rate is pretty good, crazy range, you know, 180 stud min range. So it's going to be a 4 hit kill up to like 170 studs, which is crazy good. Great pen as well, great gun overall. And we have battle rifle, and I already talked about this in the last video, most forgotten gun. So if you want to see more about the AG3, I'd say it's also the most underrated battle rifle in the game. I just missed like every shot on that one, but it's a pretty good gun. Super loud though. Definitely watch my previous video if you want to know more about that one. Next up we have the carbines, and this is full of really underrated guns, but I still want to give it to the KAC SRR because most people still don't use this gun. That's kind of sad because not only is this like surprisingly a pretty good gun, it's also like super fun, super underrated. I wanted to shout this one out as well because it's super good. One shot headshot at any range, crazy great rate of fire for that, terrible velocity, terrible reload speed, but it does something that's pretty good, not gonna lie, because, you know, 400 RPM and it can one hit kill at any range, which is pretty good. It definitely has its downsides. Like, first off, it only has 6 rounds. The reload speed is kind of bad, and also you got to keep in mind for 6 rounds it can be a 3 hit kill to the body at range, but if you hit 2 torsos it's going to be a 2 hit kill at any range, and it can be a 1 shot kill if you hit the head, which is, you know, pretty good. It really isn't the world's best gun. It's got a ton of downsides to it, but it does do something very well, which is of course the 1 hit kill to the head, and the recoil is also really good as well. Slap a speed loader on this thing and you will go pretty crazy, you know. Definitely an acquired taste of guns, but if you can get good with it, it is super good, you know. Then next up we have the PDWs, and I kind of want to give it to the Uzi, which is also probably the most forgotten one as well, because the Uzi, you can make it accurate. I figured out how to make it way more accurate. You don't need full stock for this, so this does not have full stock, but it's still super accurate, as you can tell, and it's basically just pistol grip and ARS suppressor. I realized it has a ton of rotational recoil, and I was like, what if I run pistol grip? And yeah, as you could probably tell by the fact that like this thing does not miss now. Look at that recoil, dude. You can run muzzle brake if you wanted to with this, but I was running ARS because like it makes the gun sound pretty good. It does actually improve your recoil by 10% to the camera recoil, which isn't really that great on this. This thing has a ton of rotational vertical recoil, as I said. You would know if you've played with this gun, like this thing is not kicking up nearly as bad as it normally does. I hate rotational recoil when it comes to this kind of recoil because you can't really see what you're aiming at, which was probably my biggest gripe with this gun. Also, if you put on like DCL, this thing would have no visible recoil, and it's still super accurate. It still feels like it has a ton of recoil to it camera wise, but that's really just something that rotational vertical recoil does to you. It makes your gun feel super inaccurate even when it's super accurate, you know. Like the Glock 17 for example is a super accurate gun that for some reason, well, not for some reason, there is a reason for it. We know the reason for it. It's an annoying reason. It's basically just it has a ton of vertical rotational. The Uzi has really good range and overall insanely good stats just in general. The only downsides to it are really just that it doesn't fire that quick and the magazine isn't that large. That's really about it. The velocity is pretty good. The pen is it's there. I don't think it's that good for the pen, but mostly the damage and the multis are crazy, you know. You can kill with 1 head and 1 torso, which is pretty good. It's a pretty easy 2 hit kill, 2 hit kill to the head as well, so just a great gun overall. Super underrated gun. I thought I would give it another shout out, especially since I actually found a setup that I really like, because before I was like, oh, I have generic setup and it wasn't that good, but this setup, it feels good. This setup feels really good. Most underrated LMG is going to be crazy to you guys. It's the MG3. The most underrated LMG in the game is the MG3 because a lot of people they absolutely hate the nerfs to this gun because they think that this gun doesn't deserve a nerf, and I'm here to clear that up. It definitely does deserve a nerf. MG3 has the dumbest recoil I've ever seen on a gun. It's a 7.62 by 51, so this is much longer than an AK round, right? So this is firing AK-47 bullets, but longer, so even larger, even more powerful, but it's firing them at 400 extra RPM, almost double the speed of the AK-47. But for some reason, unlike the AK-47, oh, that's a lot of recoil, right? No. You just pull down and it's completely accurate. The only real downsides to this are, of course, the reload speed, but the reload speed isn't even that bad. It used to be way worse, and that was like the biggest thing about it. Now it's actually not that bad. The thing is, this gun puts out crazy damage, has crazy pen, and has stupid recoil for what it can do. I think the decision to actually make the recoil make more sense is really a pretty good idea. Now, they haven't figured it out because there's been plenty of ways to actually fix the recoil and make the gun beam again, but right now, this gun is in a crazy spot of just being way too accurate. You know, this gun is super good. And that's why it's underrated, because people run the gun, but people think it's not as good as it actually is. I wasn't a really huge fan of it before. I kind of said that it was the worst LMG at one point, and that was just because, in my opinion, it was the worst for me. But honestly, with the reload speed change, I understand now, you know, because the reload speed on the gun is really what made it terrible for me. And now the reload speed is not that bad. For DMRs, it's probably the entire class. And I would have said MSG, but honestly, the MSG 90 is going crazy. Like, I've seen some people using the MSG 90 and going pretty crazy with the gun, so it's not actually the most underrated anymore. I still feel like it's the M21, most forgotten and most underrated, because forgotten and underrated are two different things. Forgotten just means nobody uses it, and underrated means nobody uses it and it's good, you know? For example, the Type 88 is forgotten and honestly deserves it. It's not underrated because it's just not that good. M21, on the other hand, is forgotten and it's underrated because, like, it's a good gun as well. Watch my previous video if you want to see some multis with it and know a little bit more about what it does, but I'm not going to go over this one as much because in the previous video I went crazy with it. Most underrated shotgun, probably Remington 870. I see some low ranks running this gun, but like, I really do feel like most of the high rank players who are running shotguns should probably be using this, you know? I won't say where I put it on my top 5. It wasn't number 1, but it was up there, and it's a rank 11 pump action shotgun. You just see the occasional low rank player running. This gun was always pretty good, but I never really liked it that much, and for some reason they buffed the damage of it from 33 to 34. So it went from being like a really good overall shotgun to being possibly the best shotgun in the entire game, because it can kill with 3 out of 8 pellets, which is less than half of your pellets have to land in order to get a one-hit kill, which made it extremely powerful because only like 3 shotguns can do that, and that's the KS23M, Stevens DB, and this one. So that's pretty crazy, you know, because this is still a 100 RPM pump action shotgun that has an extended tube for 9 or 10 rounds. Then we have sniper rifle, and this is actually going to be going to the M107, which is pretty crazy because before this gun was super abused, but then I got to change that. I was really surprised a lot of people didn't like, which basically they gave the gun 200 RPM but a ton of recoil, and it can only one-hit kill torso past a certain range, which it sounds pretty bad until you run this thing over range, because it has 3k velocity, 10 studs of pen, and it can one-hit kill torso all ranges. So just run this thing in long range and it's super good. The only reason I don't really run this gun that much anymore is actually just because of the gyro jet. I do feel like this gun is overall super freaking good, but I can definitely see why some people don't really like it as much anymore. And I honestly can't really use it right now because I haven't used it in months and I just forgot how to use it correctly because terrible handling and stuff, but like, I've gone crazy with this gun. Once you get the hang of it, it is still super good. Most underrated pistol is probably the best pistol in the entire game, the Glock 40. Overall best pistol probably in the entire game because it's going to be a 4-hit kill to the limbs at any range. Yes, that's better than the L85. Great recoil. It can be a 3-hit kill up close really easily, 2-hit kill head up close. Basically a DMR pistol, and this thing is super good, as you could probably tell, because you can go and get kills from basically any range without a ton of trouble. 93R probably underrated, nowhere near as good, but pretty underrated. Underrated revolver, probably gotta go to this one. Actually forgot its name. It's the Red Hawk 44, really good one as well. Great damage overall, a 3-hit kill to limbs all ranges. Last up is again the Obrez, which is just your tiny little Mosin, kind of like a Steyr Scout with terrible velocity. 1-hit kill head all ranges though. So if you guys did enjoy though, make sure to like and subscribe if you're new, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, have a nice day.